He is gone. Vanished. Not from the public eye he abandoned that years ago, but from the life he built, from the carefully curated world of Montecito, from the woman he gave everything up for. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, is officially missing. And this isn't a media blackout or a private retreat. This is a disappearance so complete, so deliberate, that not even his closest security detail knows his location. The last confirmed sighting was 96 hours ago outside a private terminal at Santa Barbara Airport. His phone went dark 15 minutes after takeoff. His credit cards have not been used. His biometrics have not been scanned at any border crossing he would logically cross. He has simply evaporated, and we now know why. Because while the world was speculating about a marital spat or a mental health crisis, a seismic event was quietly unfolding 3,000 miles away. In a sealed courtroom in New York City, a federal judge, presiding over the final vestiges of litigation related to the Epstein estate, issued a routine order for document release. A clerical procedure, a stamp on a piece of paper. But attached to that order was a digital appendix, a cache of correspondence marked Exhibit G12 that was never meant to see the light of day. A guardrail in the court's digital filing system failed. For 17 minutes, a link was live, and in those 17 minutes, a court clerk with a conscience, or perhaps an agenda, downloaded everything and sent it to a journalist. What that journalist found in Exhibit G12 weren't flight logs or financial transfers. They were letters. Handwritten, intimate, devastating letters, and they weren't from Jeffrey Epstein. They were addressed to him, and they were signed by a name that has just sent the British monarchy, the American media elite, and one prince in a private jet into a tailspin of panic and betrayal, Meghan Markle. This is not about a name in a black book. This is not about a photograph on a tarmac. This is about words, in her own hand, expressing gratitude, affection, and a familiarity that shatters every single narrative we have been sold for the past decade. Harry didn't just leave, he fled. Because the foundation of his entire reality, the war he waged against his family, the truth he claimed to champion, the love story he sold to the world for millions, was built on a lie so profound, so dangerous that the only possible response was to disappear. Music swells and then drops to a subtle, ominous tone. Let's break down what we know. The timeline is everything. The letters, according to the forensic document analyst who first authenticated them for the media outlet that received the leak, date from a very specific period, mid-2010 to early 2013. This is the era after Epstein's first conviction when he was a registered sex offender, but before his social ostracization was absolute. This was the period where his inner circle became smaller, tighter, and more insulated. Gaining entry to that circle now wasn't about social climbing. It was about a specific understanding, a mutual silence. And into this circle, according to these pages, walked a striving actress named Rachel Meghan Markle. The letters, typed on heavy cream stationery but signed in distinctive blue ink, are not love letters. They are something far more transactional and therefore far more damning. They are thank you notes, but not for parties or introductions. Letter 1, dated August 2011, thanks Epstein for his unexpected and generous facilitation of a meeting with a powerful Disney executive, a meeting that reportedly led to her voiceover role in a film project that same year. The language is professional, but the subtext, according to our source inside the newsroom, is clear. A debt is acknowledged. Letter 2, from spring 2012, is more personal. It references a wonderfully restorative weekend on Little St. James, Epstein's private island, and thanks him for the therapeutic conversations and the space to breathe away from the pressures of LA. It is signed, with deepest gratitude, Meghan, but it is letter 3 that is the detonator. Dated November 2012, it is a response to what appears to be an invitation from Epstein to join a holiday gathering. She declined, citing work commitments, but the closing paragraph has frozen the blood of every person who has read it. She writes, "Please know that my loyalty is and always will be to the circle of trust you have built. The discretion you embody is a lesson I carry with me every day. Your guidance has been more valuable than you can know. Yours, M. The circle of trust, discretion, guidance." These are not the words of a casual acquaintance. These are the words of a protege. They indicate a relationship of mentorship and mutual protection. They place her firmly inside the fortress walls of the most notorious criminal enterprise of the 21st century, not as a victim, but as a willing participant who appreciated the rules of the game. Now, rewind Harry's own timeline. He has stated under oath during his tabloid court cases that he knew nothing of any association between his wife and Epstein. He believed her past was an open book, scrutinized and cleared by the palace's due diligence process he now claims was racist and biased. But what if that due diligence did find something? What if the institutional resistance he railed against wasn't about racism, but about risk management? What if the unnamed couriers he hates were actually people trying to protect the crown from a cataclysmic liability? Our sources within the legal team now scrambling to contain this say Harry was given a preview of the leaked letters 12 hours before the public knew. He was in Montecito. He confronted Meghan. What was said in that conversation is known only to them, but the outcome is clear. Within 2 hours, Harry was on the phone with a pilot he has used for off-the-books travel before. He packed a single bag. He told his security he was going for a drive. He never returned. He is now in the wind. But the letters are not, and their authenticity is being verified by the same labs that verify historical documents. The ink, the paper stock, the linguistic patterns all are consistent with the period. This isn't a tabloid fabrication. This is a judicial leak of what a federal court considers evidentiary material. The gravity of that cannot be overstated. Harry isn't hiding from the media. He's hiding from the truth. The truth that the woman for whom he betrayed his family, his country, and his duty was writing glowing letters of gratitude to a convicted sex offender while he, Harry, was serving on the front lines in Afghanistan. The truth that the villains in his story, the press, the palace might have been trying to protect him from this exact moment. The truth that his entire life as Harry of Montecito is a performance built on a foundation of secrets he never dug deep enough to find. But the letters are only the beginning, because Exhibit G12 contained more than just correspondence. It contained a ledger, and in that ledger is a code. A code that points to a series of financial transactions that don't involve Epstein at all. They involve someone else. A bigger, more powerful player who has remained in the shadows until now. And that is what truly triggered Harry's disappearance, because this isn't just about the past anymore, it's about who else Meghan Markle was loyal to. The letters were the poison, but the ledger is the blueprint for the murder of a reputation. Buried within the same court exhibit data dump was a secondary file, a spreadsheet, cryptically titled Consultancy Retainers 2010-2015. On the surface, it's a dry list of payments, dates, amounts, client codes, recipient codes. The kind of document only a forensic accountant could love, and only a forensic accountant could truly fear. Because when you decode it, when you cross-reference the alphanumeric client tags with known Epstein entity shell companies, and the recipient codes with a separate list from a related civil suit, a pattern emerges that is far more dangerous than heartfelt letters. It shows a financial pipeline. A series of 9 payments totaling just over $225,000 made between 2012 and 2014 from an Epstein-controlled LLC to a Delaware-based corporation named Riviera Endeavors, Inc. Riviera Endeavors was dissolved in 2017. Its sole listed director and beneficiary was Meghan Markle. This isn't gift money. This is structured, invoiced payment. For what? The ledger's description column is vague: media consulting, liaison services, project development. But the timing is explosive. The final payment was issued in March 2014. 7 months later, in October 2014, Meghan Markle's lifestyle blog, The Tig, launched with polished production values and immediate industry access that baffled her small circle in Toronto. The seed capital, it appears, didn't come from acting paychecks. But here's where the story detonates, and why Harry didn't just get angry, he got terrified. One of the client codes on the ledger, XCB, making 3 of the largest payments, did not trace back to an Epstein entity. Our financial sources, who have been mapping this shadow economy for years, ran it through their databases. XCB is a tag they've seen before. It's a private, ultra-discreet code used by one of the most powerful, secretive, and controversial billionaire financiers in the Middle East, Tariq al-Rashid. Al-Rashid is not a socialite. He is a shadow, a man who operates in the space where sovereign wealth, intelligence agencies, and global influence peddling converge. He has been investigated but never charged by authorities in 3 countries for allegations ranging from bribery to acting as an unregistered foreign agent. He is also a man with a documented decade-long financial relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, a relationship based on what intelligence filings call human capital introduction. The implication is nuclear. Meghan Markle wasn't just on Epstein's radar. She was, according to this financial trail, a contracted asset in a network that connected a convicted sex offender to a geopolitical fixer of immense power and murky allegiance. Her services may have been social, logistical, or informational, but they were monetized, and they connected her to a world Harry, for all his royal training, cannot possibly navigate or survive. This is the information that was relayed to Harry in that final, fateful briefing before he fled. It wasn't just, your wife knew a bad man. It was, your wife was a paid liaison between a pedophile and a suspected foreign intelligence asset. And every photograph of you both, every interview, every detail of your life in Montecito, your security protocols, your private grievances about your family, your children's schedules, all of it has existed 1 degree of separation from a man who sells secrets for a living. Harry didn't vanish because his heart was broken. He vanished because he realized he and his family might be in active physical danger. Our Rashid's modus operandi, according to security analysts we consulted, is compromising information. He trades in secrets. What greater secret is there than the proof that a former senior British royal sixth in line to the throne is married to a woman who is on his own payroll via Jeffrey Epstein? Harry is not a target. He is leverage, and he knows it. Music becomes a pounding rhythmic pulse. The reaction behind the scenes is one of pure, unadulterated institutional panic. 2 parallel crisis operations are now running in London. Buckingham Palace has gone into a Cobra meeting-level lockdown, but for reputation, not terrorism. The King's lawyers are reportedly drafting the most severe legal documents imaginable, not against the press, but against Harry and Meghan directly. The nuclear option, discussed in hushed tones, is a formal statement of disassociation from the crown, stripping them of all remaining royal affiliations and, critically, challenging their right to use their Sussex title, which is a royal title. The argument that they have brought the monarchy into disrepute in a manner that directly threatens national security due to the alleged foreign intelligence link. They are not trying to save Harry. They are building a firewall. In Montecito, Meghan's world is collapsing in real time. Her PR team, Arkewell, has gone completely silent, a telltale sign of a crisis with no good response. The global philanthropic brand is untenable. Netflix has allegedly put all projects on indefinite hold. Brand deals are evaporating not with angry calls, but with silent, formal letters from lawyers citing morality clauses. But more ominously, our sources say the Montecito property is now surrounded by a new, unsmiling private security team. Not hers, not Harry's, hired by a third party. The question is, who? A protective detail from a powerful friend? Or a guard detail placed by someone making sure she doesn't follow her husband into the shadows? And Harry? He is the ghost in this machine. Intelligence whispers suggest he did not go to the UK. He does not want the palace's protection because he no longer trusts them. He is believed to be in a Commonwealth country with no extradition treaty and a history of sheltering the discreetly wealthy a place like the Bahamas or Vanuatu. He is off the grid, but he is not inactive. He is, according to one former aide, assembling his own countercourt. He is reportedly reaching out to the only people he thinks can handle a war at this level. Top-tier American private intelligence agencies and litigation firms, the kind that specialize in making problems disappear and fighting wars in the dark. He is preparing for a conflict that has 3 fronts: legal, against the media, publishing the letters, against the court for the leak, and potentially against the palace if they move to disinherit him. Financial, to untangle and explain the payments from XCB before the U.S. Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Unit takes an interest. Personal, a silent Cold War with a wife who may represent the greatest threat he has ever faced. The fairy tale is dead, the narrative is ash. What we are witnessing is no longer a scandal. It is the systemic annihilation of the Sussex identity, and at the center of the blast radius is a simple handwritten phrase from 2012, "Yours M." It was a signature of loyalty. Now, it is a signature on a warrant for the destruction of everything it touched. So where does it end? When you are a prince with no kingdom, a husband with no home, and a man whose truth has become a weapon against him? There are no clean escapes from a story like this. The letters are now a permanent part of the digital record. The ledger is a puzzle being solved by 1,000 amateur sleuths and professional enemies. Harry can run, but the data is faster. The next move is not his. It belongs to the institutions he defied. The British Home Office is now conducting a confidential review. The question is not about titles. It is about visas and residency. Meghan's U.S. citizenship application, which lists her history and associations, is being scrutinized under a microscope. If the consultancy payments are deemed undeclared income or worse, linked to activities that threaten public safety and national security, the path to her citizenship and her ability to remain in the U.S. could be irrevocably blocked. Across the Atlantic, King Charles III faces his own impossible choice. To protect the 1,000-year-old institution, he may have to perform the ultimate surgery. Not a stripping of titles, but a formal renunciation of rights document pushed through Parliament, legally severing Harry and his line from the line of succession forever. Not as a family quarrel, but as a state necessity. The crown cannot be adjacent to a potential foreign intelligence scandal. The monarch's first duty is to the kingdom, not his son. But the true ending is being written in a federal courthouse in Manhattan. The judge who oversaw the leak did not do so by accident. Our legal sources indicate the clerical error was, in fact, a strategic disclosure by a faction within the Epstein victims' legal team. They believe Meghan Markle is not a witness, but a co-conspirator of silence. They want her deposed. Under oath, they will subpoena her. And if she refuses or invokes the Fifth Amendment, the public and a jury will draw its own conclusions. This is the final box closing around Harry. He vanished to buy time. But time is now the enemy. Every hour he is gone, the narrative hardens without his defense. Every hour, Meghan's isolation becomes more desperate. Every hour, the palace's legal machinery grinds closer to a verdict of exile. He is left with the arithmetic of ruin. To save his children, he may have to abandon their mother. To save himself, he may have to betray the love story that defined him. To survive, he may have to return to the family he denounced and beg for protection from the ghosts of a past he never lived. Prince Harry vanished because a court leaks letters. But he will reappear because the world he tried to escape is the only one equipped to fight the dragon he has discovered. The tragedy is not that the truth came out. The tragedy is that the truth was there all along, waiting in a forgotten court exhibit, while he built a life on the most beautiful lie he ever told, his own.